Hey there, friends. Let's talk about pencils. Of course, when we think of a pencil, we often think of the good old number 2. And we associate it with this type of pencil sharpener, giving it this very triangular point, usually associated with writing, doing lettering. But what about some mechanical pencils? Here's just a regular technical pencil, which gives you a consistent line all the time. Great for writing and doing detail work. You don't have to sharpen these because your point doesn't wear down. So it's nice when you can create a consistent line with a technical pen. Architects will recognize this sort of lead holder where you can release as much or as little of the lead as you want. And that goes along with this type of pencil sharpener, which puts 2 types of points on it, either a blunt point or a very sharp point. Again, for lettering, doing fine detail, and drawing mostly consistent lines. Now, I like to use a lead holder because when I draw, I like to let out a good bunch of lead, so I have a whole drawing edge to work with. Lead holders are really nice. Can also sharpen it to a chisel point, which is nice for having varied line widths. But now I'm going to put all of these aside and talk about just a regular wooden drawing pencil. Rather than putting a point on it that we use for writing, we're going to put a point on it that looks more like a tapered brush tip. All right, and we're going to do that by using a razor blade like this. So I'm going to start by taking off about 1/4 of an inch of this, but eventually I want to expose about 3/4 of an inch of the lead. All right, so I'm just carefully prying away, pushing carefully away from myself into the wood, just like whittling. Use your thumbs to hold and push the wood off of the graphite. Now, I'm using a 3B. I like to use a softer lead, so I'm going very carefully so that I don't gouge into the graphite, which I'm getting very close to. And there we start to see some of it, which I did, but that's okay. It's near the tip anyway. So now that I've exposed a good portion of that lead, I'm going to back up a little more and start carving back some more. Very difficult to get this all off in one chunk. Try to do it in 2 or 3 stages as you go up the wood of the pencil until you've got a good bunch exposed. I'm almost there, but I've got one that's a little further along so that I can show you what to do next. So now this is about 100 grit, maybe 120 grit sandpaper. I'm turning, rotating the graphite as I sharpen it to a point, but I'm also lifting it up on an angle as I angle at the point. If you can see that. From the side view, it would look like this. I'm pulling up away. All right, so now when you draw with this, instead of writing with your knuckles like you do for lettering, fine detail, flip the tool over and hold it like a magic wand. Now draw from your shoulder. This way you'll have better control over larger curves when you draw, but also using the edge of this to be able to create a consistent tone. And if you rotate your pencil around while you draw like this, you'll keep it sharp. You'll really have to go back to the sandpaper because you're not bearing down on the point. And the whole point of that, which I'm going to use the point now, is paper has a tooth like this. And we're usually just putting graphite across the top of that tooth. But if you're pressing down, you're damaging the tooth, which you can't really ever get back. And that's why you'll always see a line where you've damaged the tooth. When you try to do even gradients like this, even tone, you're going to spot the damaged tooth underneath. Also, erasing, those are the parts that are hard to get out because you've pushed it down into the tooth of the paper. So practice sharpening a few of your pencils like this. Don't worry, you're not ruining them. This is the best way to work with lead and graphite. So have fun, enjoy.